let's talk about silver. Because right now, something is happening in this market that we have just never seen before. Forget everything you thought you knew. What we're witnessing is a perfect storm of powerful forces all colliding at once, and it's completely reshaping what this metal even means for the 21st century. So picture this. It's mid-January 2026, and silver doesn't just squeak past its old records. It absolutely demolishes them, blowing past $90 an ounce. Now, the big question is, was this just another flash in the pan? Another temporary spike? Well, the sources we've been digging into suggest it's something way, way deeper than that. And this quote right here, it gets to the very heart of the matter. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, it's about trust. What's happening is a fundamental shift, a huge move away from paper promises, and a desperate scramble for the real deal, physical silver that you can actually hold in your hand. Okay, now before we dive any deeper, we have to get the important disclaimer out of the way. This is an analysis of market studies and various reports. It is absolutely not, and I repeat, not investment advice. You should always consult with a professional financial advisor before making any kind of investment decision. So, what is behind this absolutely record-shattering spike? Well, to really get what's going on, we first have to look at what silver is actually used for. And honestly, the answer might surprise you. See, unlike gold, which is mostly about jewelry and investment, a massive 50%, over half, of all silver demand comes from industrial uses. It's not just a precious metal, it's a critical, irreplaceable component, and that fact changes its entire story. And this industrial demand, it isn't just steady, it is absolutely exploding, all thanks to three massive technological revolutions that are all happening at the exact same time. First up, solar power. The entire green energy transition is literally being built with silver, and the demand from that sector is just going through the roof. Then you have electric vehicles, which need way more silver than gas-powered cars. And third, the new kid on the block, artificial intelligence. Those huge data centers that power AI, they need silver for high-efficiency parts. This trifecta creates a relentless, locked-in demand that just isn't going away. Okay, so demand is on a rocket ship. What's happening on the supply side? Well, if you thought the demand story was dramatic, the picture on the supply side is even more so. We need to get our heads around a key term here, structural deficit. This isn't just a temporary dip. It means that for years now, the world has been using way more silver than it can possibly dig out of the ground or recycle. It's a chronic imbalance. And the numbers? They're just staggering. We're talking 5 straight years of these deficits. The cumulative shortfall is almost 820 million ounces. Now, to put that into perspective, that's like an entire year's worth of global mine production just vanished. Poof, gone from the world's stockpiles. So the obvious question is, why don't miners just, dig up more? Well, the answer to that, the key to the entire supply problem, really comes down to this one single number. And here it is. This is the crucial point. A whopping 70% of all silver isn't from dedicated silver mines. It's just a byproduct. Miners are out there looking for copper, lead, or zinc, and they just happen to get a little bit of silver along with it. They can't just turn a silver dial up because its supply is completely tied to the economics of totally different metal. So, let's recap. We have unstoppable demand on one side and a deeply constrained supply on the other. This brings us to the billion-dollar question. Where on earth does the price go from here? Well, the forecasts for 2026 are, to put it mildly, all over the map. You've got the mainstream banks like UBS and Bank of America in the $55 to $65 range. But then you have Citigroup calling for $100. And then you have well-known investors like Robert Kiyosaki and Mike Maloney who are talking about numbers that are multiples of that, with some even whispering about quadruple digits. So what gives? It's really a battle between two incredibly powerful narratives. The bull case is simple. The deficits aren't going away, and industrial demand is only going to accelerate. But the bear case is just as believable. A nasty global recession could hammer industrial demand. Super high prices could force companies to find cheaper substitutes. And a sudden policy shift from central banks could hit silver hard. When you step back and look at the whole picture, the industrial forces, the financial ones, the geological constraints, they're all converging to do one thing. They are fundamentally changing what silver is in the 21st century. And this quote just nails the transformation perfectly. Silver is shedding that old label of poor man's gold. It's becoming something entirely new, a critical, absolutely strategic asset that's essential for our future in technology and energy. Which leaves us with this final massive question. In a world where unstoppable technological demand is crashing head-on into the hard limits of physical supply, where does that leave the price? What is silver's true value? That is the question that the entire market is desperately trying to answer right now.